One time, Lisa and I were traveling, and our mailbox somehow got totally destroyed. Unbeknownst to us, one of our neighbors went out and bought a brand new mailbox, and another neighbor put it up. We found out about this later. Now, that is truly an act of kindness, and that is an example of the type of community we live in here in Bellingham. Some people call Bellingham the city of subdued excitement, but to me, it's much more than that. It's a place where we can have joyful, expansive living and really work on growing into the lives that we want to live. It's an easy place relative to the other places that I've been in my life to be. So why talk about kindness, and why should we go to all the effort to have an event about kindness? In my book that Deb mentioned, called Inquire Within, I talk about various practices that people have used for centuries, if not longer, to develop balance and harmony in life. We do these things because we need to feel that harmony that is part of us so that we can enjoy living and grow. My favorite of all the practices that I talk about, and the one that I like to speak of often, is kindness, because it's a universal value. It doesn't have those spiritual undertones that certain practices like prayer and meditation do, which maybe aren't seen as such inclusive practices. Regardless of religion or politics, and regardless of ethnicity or gender, regardless of any of the many ways that we use to distinguish between each other and to show how we are different, each of us wants to be liked, and each of us wants to be respected for who we are. Each of us can appreciate receiving kindness, and especially if we're really not having such a great day, that's when it really feels good to receive something kind from another person. We feel kindness in so many different forms. It comes as benevolence, as humanity, as generosity, as sympathy. And we find ourselves, when something small even was done that made our day better, going, oh, I'll never forget that act of kindness. That person gave me something when I needed it most. And it doesn't matter how small or big it is on the scale. It matters what we feel in here. To me, there's probably nothing on earth that each of us wants more from each other than kindness, because when all is said and done, it is our greatest measure of a fellow human being. We might look past what we consider to be great flaws and foibles when kindness resides in the heart of another person. And the old saying, his heart was in the right place, tells us this noble truth. For me, I really like what His Holiness the Dalai Lama of Tibet originally has to say when he's asked to describe his philosophy of living. It's a very thoughtful perspective and well worth considering, and I think worth practicing. And it goes like this. Each of us was born, and each of us will die. Each of us has suffered, and each of us wants to be happy. We're not so different from each other. Really, we're the same. So, therefore, it's like a logical theorem. It makes sense for us to be kind to one another. It makes sense for us to be generous with one another and compassionate and tolerant and understanding. It's a logical response when we consider how connected we are with each other. There's virtually none of us that don't rely on other people to do such basic things as make our clothing, grow our food, build our shelters. And when we think about it, other people are not just important to us, they're vitally important to us, and therefore, once again, it's logical for us to be kind to them and to accept them as they are. Now, the act of accepting people as they are is often seen as a passive or a weak act, whereas I think there's a great misconception about this, because accepting others is an actual conscious, active, engaging in the process of being in the world. It's as though our viewpoints and opinions, they don't have anything to do with it. It's not about liking or disliking them. It's about going along with them, just as if the snow comes down and the willow has to bend so it does not break. It's about going along with things at a certain point. And that's what I would call a reactive kindness. But what about the notion of proactive, conscious kindness as a way of being in the world? Not just reacting to being kind because somebody opened the door for us or said thank you, but the actual proponent of that force in the world. So there's a practicality to kindness, but what's in it for us as far as practicing it? Why should I do that? I mean, I've already got enough to do. It's a busy world. I'm stressed out. I'm working a lot. I don't have time for things. So why should I go to all the effort to practice kindness? Well, how about the fact that happiness and joy are directly related to kindness, because what we give to other people, we receive in return. It's basically a cosmic equation. It's very simple. Selfless acts of service, a general attitude of well-being toward others, smiling, random acts of kindness, these all cultivate and expose these deep roots that we share undeniably within. Random acts of kindness deserve a special mention because they're unexpected acts that we do for other people that are a surprise, and they are a genuine thrill to participate in, whether you're the one that's giving the act or the one that's receiving it. For example, buying the person behind you a coffee when you're in line at the coffee shop, or maybe the two people behind you. Try that and see what it feels. It causes a whole sensation, and they go, oh my gosh, that's so nice of you. You didn't have to do that. I'm going to go buy somebody a coffee myself. Letting the person behind you that has a carload of kids take the parking spot that you were going to take. Buying flowers for your loved one for no reason whatsoever. There's no anniversary, no birthday. They didn't do anything nice for you. You just came home with flowers. I mean, how beautiful is that? And what does it feel like to receive those flowers?